What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the zero running back strategy for the 2024 fantasy football season. We're going to do this via Fantasy Pros, a 12-team league, full PPR, where we are drafting fourth overall. Our roster: one quarterback, two running backs, two wide receivers, a tight end, a flex, and then 5 bench spots. But that's pretty much it. So let's get into it. And while we wait for it to load, a quick reminder: if you enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. Let us hear in the comment section. Do you agree, disagree, along with any other questions you guys might have? Your thoughts on this strategy and others of this nature. So, I always find these type of breakdowns pretty interesting. And whether it's zero running back or zero wide receiver, we kind of break this down every single year. And every single year, it is a little bit different because the flow of the draft is a little bit different. You have new talent being kind of added to the league via the rookie classes, right? Breakouts from last year, all those things and more. Now, as I say, pretty much with any strategies of these kind, just beware. This is more so just an exercise. Like, I'm not saying you should 100% follow this during your actual draft, because anytime you go into a draft with a strategy that you are going to follow no matter what, it can lead to some, issues, because honestly, the best thing to do is go best value on the board. Typically, that's what leads to the most success. But for the zero running back strategy, what we're going to do is basically for the first 3-4 rounds, go wide receiver heavy. We're going to go wide receiver heavy, and then we're going to try and fill out the rest of our squad, middle round running backs, right? So here we're picking kind of earlier on, 4th pick overall. We still have a chance to get one of these tier 1 wide receivers, as I call them. Tyreek Hill is still there for us. And he's my highest ranked wide receiver left. So this is pretty easy. We're going to go with Tyreek Hill here. And now this is where the fun begins, quote unquote fun, I will say. Because at this point in time, we're going by the zero running back strategy. So as the name suggests, at least for the first 3 rounds, we're going all wide receivers here, folks. Because here, if this was, a normal mock draft, I would be taking Travis Etienne. I would be taking Kyren Williams. I would be taking Rachaad White. Well, guess what? That's not what we're going to do here. Instead, we are going to go with wide receivers. We're going to go with pass catchers. I think taking a tight end early could also fall into this into this category. So here, let's take one of those tight ends. Let's take a Sam Laporta. And then we will see what's available to us at wide receiver. Again, Kyren Williams is still on the board. Rachaad White is still on the board. I would be going with those positions, but no, we are sticking true to the zero running back strategy, and we are going a pass catcher. So pass catchers, well, Michael Pittman, DJ Moore, those are the top 2 guys. Let's see Cooper Kupp as well. I would probably go with Pittman. He's the number 1 on his team. He's a little bit younger. Injury history not as lengthy as Cooper Kupp, but Cooper Kupp is a very, very close second. So let's go with Michael Pittman here. I think that, having him as our number 2 wide receiver is not the end of the world. So let's go with Michael Pittman. We've got our top 2 wide receivers taken care of. And now, question is, do we want to take this 3 or 4 rounds as far as the strategy itself is concerned? We've gone the first 3 rounds with all pass catchers, Tyreek, Laporta, Michael Pittman. Man, if DJ Moore had fallen to us in the 4th round, probably would have gone DJ Moore. I'm not going to lie to you. We'd narrowly missed out on Cooper Kupp, on DJ Moore. Both I would have been happy with. Why was that possible? Because there was a huge running back run here at the end of the 3rd and early 4th. And of course there was, which hurts our chances. Derrick Henry, Pacheco, Alvin Kamara, Rachaad White, James Cook, Josh Jacobs, Joe Mixon. Because now when you look at the cheat sheet and you look at the running backs, well, folks, Kenneth Walker, Aaron Jones. Those are our top 2 choices. And if we go another round of this, question is how difficult do we want to make this for ourselves? You know what? The hell with it. Let's make this really difficult. Let's make this let's make this a real challenge. First 4 rounds, we're going pass catchers. I'm adding Christian Kirk here. I know I'm passing him. I'm passing up names like Stephon Diggs, Keenan Allen, but guess what? Those guys, old, new teams, new quarterbacks, and not the number one option on their squad anymore. So we're going to go with Christian Kirk as our number 3 wide receiver. And then we're going to be taking running backs. We're going to be taking running backs like crazy, like our life depends on it. Kenneth Walker was selected. We are going Aaron Jones here. No questions asked. And then we are going to continue to go running backs. No questions asked. So Zamir White here will be the easy next selection for us. I was praying that he would be available. He is. Because if he wasn't, folks, let me tell you, it's looking kind of ugly. Because, I mean, here, Jalen Warren, Najee Harris, split backfield, Javonte Williams, that Denver offense, Tony Pollard, split backfield, Raheem Mostert, again. I mean, I know he was sensational last year, but will that continue on? I'll probably take him in the next round because I think, we need home run hitters. Basically, what happens when you commit to one of these strategies is you got to go for it in like the 5th, 6th round with a position that you ignored, and you got to address that position very often. And Raheem Mostert, we know he's coming off a sensational year. The question is, can he have another year where he's healthy for the majority of the season? That's a big question mark. And can Devon Achane, not completely take over that backfield? So, I mean, to be fair, it is the 7th round, so there's not as much risk to it. I'm looking at names here. We're not going quarterback. Tight end, we've got Laporta, so we're good there. If I went wide receiver here again, I'd probably be going Deontay Johnson. But let's go Raheem Mostert at this point in time. Zach Moss is also somebody that I like. I'm hoping he falls to us in the next round, but I have my doubts. And boy, oh boy, were my doubts correct, because Zach Moss went about 4 picks after us. So I got greedy. I do think that Zach Moss, honestly, was the better pick over Raheem Mostert overall as a whole, big picture, because he's kind of the unquestioned starter for Cincinnati, coming off a huge year as well. But you don't have that young guy behind him that showed as much explosiveness and his promise as Achane with Raheem Mostert. So there is that. Here I'm going to go with Jerome Ford. I think his value is going to continue to go up as the uncertainty surrounding Nick Chubb grows. So, we could have a starting running back that's solid, that's a top 24 guy for the first half of the season. That's worth something, right? So let's go Jerome Ford. And I don't care if it tells me it's a reach. At this point in time, folks, there's no reaches here because you're looking at the running back position. It's funny, the breakdown starts out as 0 running back, but what you're going to see with the 0 wide receiver, with the 0 running back strategies, for the first 4 rounds, it's okay, you're ignoring that position. And then for the next 4 or 5 rounds afterwards in a row, it's just targeting that position. That's the way it goes. Here we could go Austin Eckler, in PPR, you're praying that he can still deliver 10 points a game or something like that. And I guess that's where we're going to go with here. Ezekiel Elliott, I just have question marks about him and how much he has left in the tank. I'm going to go Eckler here. Maybe Zeke falls to us. He doesn't. But that's fine. I don't think Ezekiel Elliott is going to be the reason why this roster succeeds or it doesn't. Look at our last several selections. Aaron Jones, Zamir White, Raheem Mostert, Jerome Ford, Austin Eckler. I think that's 5 straight running backs after we went 1, 2, 3, 4 straight pass catchers. Now, we can get back to, I think, going value, because I don't love any of these running backs that are left available. I'm not impressed by any of them. So here, I'm going to target somebody like let's see, do we have, how do we feel about Jordan Addison? This tier of wide receivers, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Cortland Sutton, Tyler Lockett, Jacoby Myers, not bad. Brian Thomas Jr., not bad. Curtis Samuel. I believe Keon Coleman was already drafted. So, I'm probably going to go with, looking at these names, let's go with, it's not sexy, but Jordan Addison, a promising second-year wide receiver. Problem is, he doesn't have Kirk Cousins there anymore, so, it's one of those situations. But TJ Hawkinson, to be fair, is going to be out for a while. Oh, and actually, I guess that's a mistake on my end. Keon Coleman was still available. I just wasn't seeing him on the list. So apologies for that. He could have been a selection for us there. Let's go with, we can go with another high upside. I was going to say we could go with Brian Thomas, but then I realized we already have Christian Kirk. So I'm going to bypass Brian Thomas. I will go with probably Curtis Samuel. He could very well lead the Buffalo Bills at the wide receiver position. Putting it all on the shoulders of Keon Coleman is, I feel like, sometimes asking for trouble. To me, honestly, Curtis Samuel is just like one of these later round wide receivers that I like. And for that reason, he is our last wide receiver selection. Now we can go quarterback. What quarterback do you go with? Jaden Daniels falls in that high upside category. So does Caleb Williams. But I've already taken enough risks here. I want to go with some stability. I'll go with the stack. I'll try and have that game-winning potential. I've already got Tyreek, so going Tua does make sense. If this was another round later, I'd probably back up Tua with, a proven quarterback. But let's see what our draft grade here is. I wouldn't be shocked if it's low. As soon as I say I wouldn't be shocked if it's a low, we, no joke, get one of our highest draft grades, an A+. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I know the algorithm loves pass catchers, so we got graded highly for going Tyreek, Laporta, Pittman, and Christian Kirk. But, folks, our running backs, there's a lot of question marks. I know we have some breakout potential, but, I could see a world where Aaron Jones doesn't hit, where age catches up to him. I could see a world where Zamir White, yes, he could be in that boomer bust category, where either he's great or he disappoints, kind of like Alexander Madison last year. And then, we did get a lot of running backs on our bench with Mostert, Ford, and Austin Eckler, so there's some upside there, but I don't think anything is season-long, locked and loaded type of deal. And then we just added some more value afterwards. I would not call this an A+, but it's an interesting build nonetheless. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Agree, disagree, any other questions you guys might have. If you guys enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at All Day Pigskin. Continue interacting with us there. We'll probably take another look at this, zero running back strategy, but just with a later round pick, maybe towards the end of the first round. So again, this is probably part 1 of 2 or 3. So keep an eye out for that. But in the meantime, again, we'll see you guys in future videos.